All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by students from Moonlight Elementary.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That will bring us to 1.3, approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor? None opposed? I'll point out we have an empty seat here. Pat was unable to join us due to a work conflict. Move on to 2.1, presentation by students from Moonlight Elementary.
All right. Good evening. We're arranging ourselves, sorry. Yeah. I'm Katie Beach. I'm the principal at Moonlight, and I have the pleasure of introducing you to our Girls on the Run program this evening. So Girls on the Run is a fun program that happens every spring at Moonlight, and it's quickly been growing in popularity in the last several years, as you can see. We have a group of our fourth grade girls with us tonight. They were all a part of the program last spring as third graders, so they're going to share with you tonight. And then we also have a few of our sponsors with us. So I'm going to turn the mic over to them and let them present to you.
This is Mardell Eilderts. She's a fourth grade teacher. I'm Sunny Beggart. I'm a math aide.
I'm Erin Brown. I'm a third grade teacher, and I'm one of the coaches. As Mrs. Beach said, sorry, we are part of the Girls on the Run Moonlight team. We coaches love getting to know all the girls on our team. Our team is open to third through fifth graders. We want to include as many teammates as possible, so in order that Girls on the Run offers scholarships so that we can have the biggest team as we can. We're very much looking forward to our 2025 season.
My name is Josie Francis. I'm fourth. My favorite part about Girls on the Run was getting to build friendships with my peers and coaches.
My name is Allie Mosby in fourth grade, and my favorite part of Girls on the Run was getting to run laps at school while getting to know the coaches and my friends better and really having a lot of fun.
My name is Evelyn Gilbert. One of my favorite lessons was our community service Project Trash Walk on the streets around Moonlight Elementary.
Hi, my name is Alana Ray. Girls on the Run helped me prepare and run my first 5K.
My name is Daniela Garcia. Girls on the Run helped me build my confidence and prepare me for my first 5K.
My name is Chelsea, and I'm in fifth grade.
Thanks again for having us here. As you can tell, we're all very excited. This has been a fun program that we have loved to have at our school. And we look forward to our spring season. And as you can see, we have fifth grader even that came back and joined us because she liked it so much. All right, Girls on the Run.
Girls on the Run is so much fun. Girls on the Run is so much fun. Girls on the Run is so much fun.
That will bring us to 2.2, the GEHS Fall Activity and Athletic Recognition.
There we go. Good evening. My name is Jason Radel, and I have the privilege of being the athletic director here at GHS. I would like to thank the board, Dr. Huff and Dr. Booth, for inviting us here tonight to celebrate our fall athletics programs, and especially our kids and coaches. All of our coaches and kids put in a lot of time and effort to be the best they can be for our programs, and it's an honor to stand here tonight to recognize them. Let's start with Unified Bowling. The Kansas High School Athletics Association recently adopted Unified Bowling. This year, our kids had another good year of learning and growing. The program grew in numbers, and the kids got better each week in a short season. We look forward to seeing this program continue to grow and find new success. Our varsity volleyball team had an overall record this year of 20-17, improving from last year's 17-19 record. We had a lot of very competitive matches throughout the year and saw our team improve. Next year, we return most of the team and are looking for a great season. Varsity players that were selected for all Sunflower League honors include sophomore Amelia Wilhite, juniors Hayden Meets, Charlie Latterman, and Tori Thompson. Our men's soccer team this fall had another strong season following the record-setting season last year. The Blazers finished the season with a 9-5-1 record and the most competitive league in the state. Out of the top 9 teams this year, 8 of them were from the Sunflower League. The team was led by a great group of seniors with 3 who were selected first team All-Sunflower League: Owen Dye, Ronaldo Hernandez Sanchez, and Malachi Parks. Second team honors included the Garcia de la Cruz twins, Alonzo and Ricardo, both sophomores, and seniors Ong Sui. All league honorable mention honors go to seniors Stephen Drabant and juniors Jackson Seifert and Arden Sirathasak. Hard one to get out. All right, so on to state this year. Our girls golf team was led by Coach Hodges. It continues to grow and get better each year. This year, for the first time in 6 years, we had one girl who qualified for the state tournament, Miss Lana Bales. Unfortunately, Lana had soccer tonight, so she couldn't make it with us tonight, but we're extremely proud of her, and she did a great job. Cross country, you guys want to come up? Coach Cochran leads our cross country team. Our boys this year, after graduating our seniors who helped us to the state championship last year, we put a young boys team together on the course that brought home a second place trophy at Wichita State's JK Gold Classic. The boys competed in every race consistently, with our team typically finishing on the boys' side in the top 3 or 5, or 3 to 5 of teams. The boys finished the season ranked 8th in 6A cross country. Cade Holton and Robert Faulkner finished 19th and 21st at the state meet, and both runners were recognized as All-American All-State runners for both having unweighted GPAs of 3.75 or higher and finishing the state meet in the top 30. Cade Holton was selected as second team honorable mention as one of the top 25 runners as a junior on the Kansas side of the Metro, being selected to the Greater Kansas City Cross Country Association's Metro's Best Runners. The boys team had several runners that were all league: Cooper Payton, Aiden Sherman, Robert Faulkner, and Cade Holton. All regional: Aiden Sherman, Robert Faulkner, and Cade Holton was also on the all-state team. Robert and Cade are with us here tonight. On the girls' side, the girls fielded one of the most talented teams since moving to 6A and started the year placing 3rd at the Wichita State JK Gold Meet, but soon succumbed to battling illnesses and injuries throughout the season. The girls started the season ranked 9th in 6A. Competing in the toughest regional in the state of Kansas, the girls managed to send Sarah Harp, who is with us here tonight, to the state meet, but missed qualifying as a team. Sarah, who missed 4 weeks of the season due to a battle with a long respiratory illness, bounced back to run at league, regional, and state. Sarah was all regional and ran a solid race at the state meet, but missed the top 30 this year. Good news is, on our girls' side is they're all back. We have 4 freshmen and 2 sophomores and 3 juniors on the varsity team. Congratulations to these 3. You guys want to come up? Tennis. Hold on. Sorry, Coach. Another program on the rise here at GHS is our girls tennis program. Coach Abermite, who's with us here tonight, Coach Osborne and Coach McNanny have grown the program and see continual improvement each year. This year we had a doubles team made up of the Holly twins, Emmy and Addie, who qualified for state. This is the first time in 9 years we have had any girls qualify for state in tennis. Please congratulate Emmy and Addie. Great job. And finally, last but not least, right? Come on, guys. Our football team. We're joined by our captains and coaches tonight, Coach Owen and Coach McCall. It was another historical season for the Trailblazer football team. These guys finished the season 12-1 and brought home another state championship back-to-back. I've talked a lot about just how hard it is to make it to a state championship game in general, and the fact that they've done it 3 years in a row is something crazy, and to win it twice is even crazier. Only 6 teams in the entire state have ever done that, so it's pretty amazing. I'm pretty sure both of you guys were on one of those teams before, weren't you? Anyway. Coach Owen and his staff, who I believe are the best in the state, have led our team to 3 consecutive state games and 2 state championships. Just incredible. We all know coaches coach and players play, and there's no chance we are in any position to be on the field like that without these guys. They're some of the most dedicated kids I've ever been around. They're led by these 4 captains that we have here tonight: Braven Powell, Isaiah Williams, Caleb Moore, and Caleb Dewey. You guys were like in the exact order that I wrote down even. These guys have earned a lot of honors as well. Not all honors have been announced, but here are a few. All Sunflower League honors: Caleb Moore, Braven Powell, Sire Padilla, Remington Carpenter, Porter Swaim, Caleb Dewey, Penn McCall, Zach Hilliard, Isaiah Williams, Charlie Drinkard, Jensen Honey, Peyton Freeman, Richard Vandenberg, Tim Chartier, Chase Bojanski, Lucas Wilson, Elijah Hull, and Hayden Schultz. Also, 6A Offensive Player of the Year and the Offensive Player of the Year across all classes, our quarterback, Braven Powell. These guys are led by 2 of the best coaches I've ever been around. For the 2nd year in a row, Sports in Kansas Assistant Coach of the Year, Coach Brian McCall. Last year, Coach was the defensive coordinator. This year, he was our offensive coordinator, and I think that really shows just how good of a coach he is. Last but not least, for the 2nd year in a row, Sports in Kansas Head Coach of the Year, Mr. Jesse Owen. Please give these guys a round of applause. You want to say something?
Well, if you don't mind, Mr.
Yeah, go ahead.
Could you guys
They need it for online.
I just wanted to point out that these guys are champions in the classroom too. Just one by one, would you tell everyone what your GPAs are?
4.16.
3.4.
4.0.
3.9.
All right. With that, I would like to close with this. It is a real honor for me to be able to serve as our coaches and student athletes as the athletic director. I am very proud of the work that they are doing on the fields, courts, pitch, and alleys. But I am also very proud and more proud of what they are doing in the classroom and in our community. We have some great coaches and athletes, but even better people here at GHS. I want to thank everybody for helping me make that happen, especially our board and our leadership at the high school and in district offices. And I also want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve them. Thanks.
in the way if I stand there. I do not want to be in a picture.
And I get to follow that. Before I start, would you guys come on up here? I've asked Matthew Bryan and Alexa Reeder to come up and stand up front. They were two of our three drum majors this year for our marching band. I'll get to you, but just come on up here. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Activities at the high school this fall have been busy as well. Educators Rising has competed in their district competition, and the following students qualified to compete at state early in the second semester. Hannah Irwin got first place in exploring non-core teaching careers. Sophia Tortolero got first place in a job interview. And Libby Fry and Morgan McAnee got second place in an interactive bulletin board for middle and high school. The following students placed but did not qualify to compete at state. Aubrey Fuchs got third place in lesson plan and delivery for the humanities. And Catherine Streeter in public speaking. Mayana Tadlock for an Educators Rising moment. And Anna Hernandez and Brooke Dobson for an interactive bulletin board elementary were named honorable mention. Those students will compete then in state second semester. Hopefully we'll get to take some students on to nationals this summer like we've done the previous 2 years. It's a program moving in the right direction. I'd like to talk about cheer. Our cheerleaders have competed in 3 of the 4 competitions they're allowed to by Acacia. The team competed in a competition at Washburn Rural High School where they received a 1 rating. There's a bit of an odd rule in Acacia for spirit, governs both cheer and dance, where they're not allowed to get a place in competitions held in Kansas except for the Acacia event, which is why they receive a rating rather than a place. They did a great job. They also competed in a regional at Oak Park, Missouri, in an attempt to qualify for nationals. They finished with a qualifying score and a second place finish in their division. And finally, they competed in the game day state championships. The state spirit competitions are set up differently than the other state competitions. Because of travel and the judging component, they essentially host their regional and state competitions on the same day. There were 22 teams that competed in 6A, and the top 6 make the finals. Our team finished 9th, which is the best we've done in the last 5 years. They were very close to the top 6 in their scoring, so the team's moving in the right direction. We're very proud of them. They are currently tonight practicing, preparing for their Orlando Nationals trip in February, and also for cheering at the basketball games coming up this winter. I'd like to talk about dance. They're represented tonight by Coach Matz. Would you stand up for me? Thank you. Our dancers have competed in one of their 4 competitions permitted by Acacia. They have also competed in the Acacia Game Day State Championships. There were 17 6A dance teams that competed in 6A. Again, the top 6 make finals. Our team finished 11th. We believe this is the highest they've ever finished in the history of the program. I'm very excited about their performance and the growth they've shown over the last 3 years. They're busy preparing for the remainder of their competition season, including their trip to nationals in Orlando in February, and they also are excited to perform at our home basketball games. Thank you, Coach Matz. Now I'd like to talk about our music program, and I'd like to talk first about our marching band. These are 2 of our drum majors. The three together were Matthew Bryan, Alexa Reeder, who are here with us tonight, and Alex Tidy, who wasn't able to make it. Our marching season wraps up the end of October. They competed in Emporia State, the Olathe Marching Festival, and the Neowalla Festival in Independence. The band is transitioning how they march and how those programs are structured. I don't understand all of that. I leave that to these guys here in the back, but they tell me about it all the time. And we are getting way better. It is fun to watch. It's exciting for me to see their improvement, how they feel about themselves belonging at those competitions, and how those other schools look at our kids compared to how they've looked at them in the past. So I'm very excited about that. And I would like to recognize Justin Davidson and Nick Proctor back here, our marching band sponsors. They've done a great job. Thank you. Now I'd like to talk about the KMEA process with music. Last year I spent some time talking about the never ever done befores, and it just sort of became a theme. Well, we've done another one. The GEHS choir program has had a very successful fall season, including a record-setting participation in the East Central Kansas Music Educators Association Honor Choir. 33 of our singers auditioned in November for the ECKME Ensemble, which is unprecedented in school history. 17 of those students were selected based on their auditions to attend and participate in the choir clinics and performance this past weekend, December 7th. This is a rigorous process, and the competition is always intense, with the students from the best programs in the KC Metro. The scores of the students listed below will be in the selection process for the all-state ensembles in February. Congratulations to all. Our selections were Michael Conley, Mackenzie Kramer, Brianna Crowder, Jack Fortner, Libby Fry, Evan Gray, Harrison Heydrich, Mackenzie Hubner, Nevea Kelso, Carly Lance, Annabelle Lindblom, Emma Lloyd, Brecken Moore, Stephen Myers, Caitlin Peterson, Joseph Wachtel, and a young man whose name I'm not going to try, but his last name is Wea. His first, Ernest. Thank you. Ernest Wea. So those are our choir students, most we've ever had qualify for our district honor choir. 5 orchestra students and 10 band students auditioned for their all-district choir or orchestra and band. All 5 orchestra students and 4 band students made their ensemble. 1 orchestra and 1 band student were selected as alternates. These students work with a well-known conductor and other advanced students from around the metro again this past Saturday to perform a high-level concert. They then advanced to state auditions in January. The students are senior Nick Belcher, senior Addie Holly, senior Bryson Lane, sophomore Nate Logbeck, sophomore Elliot Terry, and sophomore Kate Nederson, who was chosen as the alternate. And then our band students were Matthew Bryan, who's here this evening, Gabe Biggs, Alexa Reeder, who's here, Alex Tidy, and Ozzy Lascone was chosen as an alternate. Finally, the jazz band participated in the Baker Jazz Band Festival on November 22nd and earned unanimous 1 ratings from all 3 judges. Eddie Hernandez Rodriguez received an Outstanding Soloist Award. So they've had quite a fall. Let's give them a round of applause. Our student council has been busy this fall. They plan and put on all of our dances and pep assemblies. They're also instrumental in giving the seniors a chance to paint parking spots in front of the building this year. About 35 students chose to participate. If you haven't seen them, it's worth going to look. They did a great job and it looks outstanding, and they had a lot of fun with it. But they also do several service projects. Their most recent was collecting food and personal hygiene items at Price Chopper this past weekend. They collected just over 2,100 pounds worth of items from patrons and received another $800 in cash donations from shoppers. All of these items were donated to the Hope Market. It's a special group of young people, and Carrie Keyser and Lacey Hinkle are their sponsors. And then finally, our Scholars Bowl and debate teams are currently competing in their seasons. Both are doing very well and will have their postseasons come January. So again, we've had a busy activity season this fall. Thank you for the opportunity and the support that we receive from the central office. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
right, we have nothing for 3.1. 4.1, hearing of requests and suggestions of citizens. We have two speakers tonight. Carrie Schmidt, followed by Teresa Lang.
Excuse me, sorry. All right. We used to recognize that adolescence is a tough time to grow up and try to encourage teenagers to accept themselves. Now we have people who, when an adolescent is struggling with a problem, they say, no, don't accept yourself. Go alter yourself chemically and surgically. This is an insane and dangerous way to talk to our young people. And you need to stop doing it through the books that you put on the shelf and in the online library called Epic Books. You need to stop providing content about sex and sexuality in our schools, regardless of this absurd social contagion that has occurred over the past 4 years. Today, you are voting on the book Lillian Duncan to keep in the district at the middle and the high school. And as I always do, I'm going to read a few examples of it so everyone knows what I am talking about. Page 26. I don't have more time. I pull away from Mom. I'm beginning to change, and it's making me crazy. I need to start hormone blockers right now, or things are going to happen that can't be reversed. I can't wait anymore, and I need one of you to sign this form so I can get them. Page 35. After signing up for a computer, I research hormone blockers again. I need to be certain about the right time to start them. There's something called Tanner stage 2, and that's when my boy parts start growing, when hair starts growing down there, and when all the things I don't want to happen start happening. That's when I'm supposed to start the hormone blockers. That means I should be starting them now. It's not like I'm asking for estrogen or surgery, yet. Page 51. Remember that time I caught Lily with the nail clippers after her bath? Dad's quiet. She told me she wanted to cut her penis off, Gary, that it didn't belong. At the end of the book, there are also confusing discussion questions such as, when did Lily begin to think of herself as a girl, and why is it best that she begin the hormone therapy now? Now, don't forget about the web addresses to many transgender resources. One address connects you to a transgender stranger to talk to about your sexuality, as if that's safe. When I went to the book review committee meeting, most talked about how the transgender message is subtle. However, that is how grooming starts, subtly. Personally, I don't know how mentioning hormone blockers 28 times, hormone therapy twice, female hormones once, and estrogen hormones once is a subtle message to the 10 to 14-year-olds who are allowed to read this content. Not only that, but it was stated in that meeting that hormone blockers are not harmful. And you know what? Not one adult corrected that child. And I couldn't believe it. That medication changes and sterilizes the human body forever. But conveniently, this book doesn't tell you that. School districts shouldn't have any propaganda available to children that glorifies drugs, and you are setting a major precedence today with your vote. Please protect the children. And lastly, I was looking through the district's YouTube channel and noticed at the board meetings that its speakers talking about the transgender policy were taken down. During your board comments, please let everyone know what the district's criteria is for keeping and removing removing board meetings on YouTube. Thank you. I would like to know why some patrons get their speeches heard and some not.
Thank you, Carrie.
There
That
seems
will
to be
bring up
some
Teresa.
discrimination.
Good evening, Board, Superintendent, and Administration. My name is Teresa Lang, and I am a resident of the Gardner-Edgerton School District. I'm here tonight to address the ongoing issues of books in our school district that inform and encourage transgender ideology as normal life events, such as the book that is being voted on this evening, Lillian Duncan. Gender dysphoria is defined in the Oxford Dictionary as a state of severe stress or unhappiness caused by feeling one's gender identity does not match one's sex as registered at birth. The words in this definition, stress and unhappiness, are emotional words that are a psychological matter. Exposing transgender issues to children in preschool through high school is something as something positive, and most of these books are in that direction, could lead them down the path of serious psychological conditions and then harmful drugs such as puberty blockers, as also described in Lillian Duncan. An article in the Alliance Defending Freedom by Jonathan Scruggs, dated May 1st of 2024 and revised just this October, called Cass Review, Children Deserve Better, Not Experimental Treatments. Dr. Hilary Cass, former president of Royal College of Pediatrics and Child Health, states that the research and claims that puberty blockers are safe and reversible and a safe and a life-saving treatment are remarkably weak. Dr. Cass says that children struggling with gender dysphoria ought to have access to standard evidence-based psychological treatment to support the management of the associated distress and concurring conditions like anxiety or depression. The school board district's job, and I hope that you would all agree, is to make sure that the children learn and understand English, math, science, social studies, art, music, physical education, foreign languages, and various other electives that will help teach them skills to prepare them for their adult lives. Now is the time to take the curriculums more seriously than ever and remove all the ideology that is harmful to our children and simply a distraction away from the more important elements of a good, solid education. So I encourage you tonight to take a step beyond your comfort zone, be brave, do what is right and moral for our children, and make an immediate effort to remove any and all books from our schools' libraries that encourage, praise, and attempt to normalize this harmful psychological condition. Gender is created at conception and is a miracle given to us by God. God does not make mistakes, and that is what we should be celebrating. Thank you.
Thank you, Teresa. That will bring us to 5.1, grants and donations presented by Greg.
Want to say thank you to Domino's and Price Chopper for helping us make our Screen Sanity event so successful. Domino's donated 22 pizzas. Price Chopper donated 2 $100 gift cards that provided drinks and snacks. Thank you to Groundhouse Coffee for providing 7 thermoses for our Coffee Talk prizes at first and second year mentee workshop. And for Moonlight Elementary, Becky Overton, supplemental special needs classroom, or for the special needs classroom, 5 packages of pull-ups. Grand total is over $200. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Greg, and thank you to all the donors. That will bring us to the consent agenda. 6.1, minutes of the regular meeting held on November 11th. 6.2, approval of proposed 2025-26 school district calendar. 6.3, financial statements. 6.4, approval of new building activity fund resolution. 6.5, Ed Services Committee recommendation. 6.6, approval of contracts and purchases. And 6.7, approval of claims.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? None opposed. Nothing for 7. 8.1, Superintendent Dr. Brian Huff.
Good evening, all. Thanks for those of you in the audience who came tonight. Thank you, Board. It was such a joy to hear all the wonderful things that were going on at the high school, and as well as at Moonlight with Girls on the Run. It's amazing to me as we listen to the litany of things that our kids have accomplished, both in athletics and activities, the high quality of the programs that we have here at the district and how lucky our kids are. And I use the word lucky, and that almost makes it sound like it's by chance. We know it's by design. And I want to thank this board for being so dedicated to providing an outstanding program for our kids. It does mean a lot, and it isn't something that's done on accident. And the same for all of our staff members who are here, parents. Thank you very much for all the dedicated time that you put in to making sure that we have a great program here for all of our kids. We've had a great first semester, and dare I say, it feels like we're getting back into the regularity of school and education, which is a really nice feeling. Thanks again to all of you who have made that happen, and we're, I think, off to a wonderful start this year. I want to wish everybody a happy Christmas. I hope that you have great plans. Hopefully you can have a chance to relax, reconnect with family. We'll have the opportunity to do that at the Huff House this year. And I also want to thank this board for being willing to engage in very difficult discussions. One of the interesting parts about running a district this size is that you do have a lot of opinions that are formed. This board, to a member, is dedicated to the high quality of education for our kids. We all want what's best. Sometimes we disagree on some of the nuances of that, and there are days when we have discussions about such a thing. I want to thank you for being willing to engage in those things, because not everybody is willing to step in front of an organization this size, parents and students and community members, and have those kind of difficult discussions. And so I appreciate all of you and the time that you're going to take tonight and every board meeting every month to do such things. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Huff. That will bring us to 8.2, comments by the Board of Education.
I have just a couple things. He left this evening. I wish he hadn't just yet, but I did. Obviously, it's been an exciting month at GEHS for those of us with family members and things, but I wanted to offer a special thanks to Jason Radel, the athletic director. The things that he's had to orchestrate over this time to navigate not only following the state championship run for football and what that encompassed, but also hosting one of the state's biggest wrestling tournaments right on the back end of that. So I wanted to make sure that those efforts were recognized, not only Jason, but the rest of the admin at the high school and support staff. Tremendous effort on all their parts to pull those things off. So I wanted to make certain a note of that. The other thing I did want to bring up, maybe in my year serving, top three at least, that's been brought to me, and especially over the last 6 weeks, when are we going to replace the scoreboard at the football stadium, and when are we going to improve that? And I did want to bring that to the table because, you know, we went to Wichita, and one of the presenters there talked about that. These are almost universally crowdfunded through marketing initiatives and otherwise. They aren't capital projects. They actually are front-end funding. So if that means we need to start an exploratory committee to find out what that looks like and what partners we can, I volunteer to serve on that. But I do think it's a discussion we need to have. Of all the things within the bond, there's been a lot of conversation. The one thing that people said, where is it, is where's the scoreboard? They thought that'd be a piece of it. And I said, well, look at this in a different way. And I think we can, because we can fund that purchase through advertising partners and continue then to build it into some of our curriculum from our art programs, our photojournalism program, all these different pieces that can tie into that and what it will open up for our track program and be able to host regional meets that we can't do now because we don't have a fully functioning. So I did want to bring that to the table. I don't expect discussion tonight, but I do hope it's something that we consider for 2025 and what that path forward looks like.
Thanks, Heath.
Okay, I would like to congratulate the high school and all the students and staff that puts all their hard work into helping these students compete and do that on a daily basis. That's great for the community. Congratulations to them. And then I would like to talk about, had a couple of staff members reach out to me just recently regarding that they're feeling overwhelmed and overburdened. And I'll just go over some of the things that they've brought up to me. Is that this year they have implemented fast bridge test, which when we discussed that was to minimize some of the test days, but then we've backfilled that with KSA test. And then they're also implementing BIST, second stop, sources of strength. They've been asked expectations to start doing walkthroughs with other teachers and also attendance incentives. And our staff is feeling overwhelmed taking all this on at one time. And I don't know what the solution is, but I think some better communication with the staff to let them know that they have help. You know, all that creeps into their core instructional time. And they've been told that this was all by the direction of the board. So that's what I've got.
Thank you, Jeff.
If you don't mind, thank you for bringing that. And we do hear of initiative fatigue. It's actually a word that we've tossed around several times in the last couple of days as a cabinet. And it's one of the I guess, the ways we push back on folks who have great ideas to introduce new things for us to do. We hear you, and it's one of those internal discussions that we also have. How can we balance our pursuit of excellence along with maintaining the sanity of our staff? And being a teacher right now is more difficult than it ever has been. You heard me say that about our teachers as well as our administrators as well as this board. We do have high expectations. We do want to provide a great level of support, and we want to be open to those conversations about how we can mediate some of that. I have a teachers advisory committee that I met with just this past week. We also met with GENEA for those very informal discussions about exactly what you're bringing up here. And yes, it is on our mind to provide that balance. So thank you for the reminder.
All right, just a quick comment. We've all been praising the students and athletes for their achievements, which is great, but I also want to recognize the community. This was my third year in a row of going to the state game, and each year our side of the stands have been more full than the other sides. So that's a testament to our community that they really support our school and our students. All right, that will bring us to 9.1, BOE strategic plan.
Okay, this is the second time this board has seen our strategic plan. We've gone through a whole lot of steps to get to this point. You have the document in front of you. My reminder also for the board is that we are going to, you're going to feel like we just stopped and we're going to start again. Our goal is to have this in place by really June, which means we're going to start the process for next year's in April, which really means we're going to turn right around and dive back into this document here pretty soon. But this document guides us in a whole lot of ways, from our board goals that are up on the wall to how we evaluate several of our staff members. And so thank you, board, for taking the time to give the guidance necessary to this district to know what the very most important topics are for us to be focused on.
All right, this is up for a vote for approval.
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? None opposed. 9.2, 2025 USD231 legislative platform.
Another guidance document. It's also the second time you've seen this document. If you vote to approve this tonight, this will be a guiding document as we go about discussions with our legislators about our hopeful priorities in laws that they vote on in the coming session. It's also a document that's going to be used by our student council as they start to put their own legislative platform together. So again, thank you for the guidance of the board. This is a very important document as we move forward.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the legislative platform.
Second.
All those in favor? None opposed. 9.3, the bond resolution.
This is the second time this is coming before the board also. This is the final vote to put the bond on the April ballot. We have loads of people here to answer questions, but quite honestly, we feel like all the information has been gone over ad nauseum. But if there is anything, any nuance you'd like to hear about, we stand at the ready to answer any questions.
All right, a resolution authorizing and providing for the calling of a bond election in Unified School District Number 231, Johnson County, Kansas, Gardner, Edgerton, for the purpose of submitting to the qualified electors of the district the question of issuing general obligation bonds of the district, authorizing application to the State Board of Education for the authority to call the bond election and for capital improvement, state aid, and providing for the giving of notice of said bond election. And this is a roll call vote. So Heath? Oh.
Second.
Heath?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Lana?
Yes.
I vote yes. Katie?
Yes.
Well done, and I'm sure this, I may be already stealing your thunder, but we thank the community for engaging in this process with us, and there will be a lot of information to come between now and April.
All right, that will bring us to 10.1, Book Review Committee Recommendation on Lillian Duncan.
I believe,
All right,
I believe you all have the report, and I stand ready to answer any questions you may have.
I do want to say I appreciate you putting all the information on there from the rubric. That was nifty.
I just want to give out my take on this real quick. This one is a hot topic, and I do appreciate and value everyone's input on this. But as I read it, it does cover the kind of bullying aspect. There's some good pieces to it. But for me, I couldn't get over the repetitive pushing of the puberty blockers. And this is for 10 to 14-year-olds. That, for me, I can't put my name on something that could potentially put kids in harm by going after puberty blockers.
I would just add on to that I am on the book review committee. And it was not a unanimous vote to keep this book in our schools. My big issue with this is the puberty blockers. And this book is available in our schools currently to 5th graders. And I do have concerns about confusion and causing harm to our students. So I do not support keeping this book in our schools.
I would like to say, to your point, I really appreciated that in the book it encouraged that the child work as a team with their family and therapists and doctors to make that decision, because that's ultimately what's the most important. I also really appreciated that it brought another perspective to Duncan's life and the mental health issues that he faces. And I don't know, I wish we had our librarian here, but I'd love to know how many other books we have on our shelves that address those types of mental health issues for our students to identify with.
For me, I've been a no since the beginning, but there's no good qualities of the book to me, and it shocked me that so many staff members were on board with this book and praising it so heavily. I'll ask the same question I asked privately. Where do we draw the line with mental health, and which ones we're going to glorify and which ones we're going to help them get the assistance they need? I also think that it was a terrible book for men and for fathers. I would like to think that had the dad not caved in and not been bullied by his family to cave, that maybe the gentleman would have got the help he needed. And I mean, obviously we don't know life, it's a fictional character, but this happens too many times in the real world, and it'd be nice if men would stand up and not cave and take care of their families like they're supposed to.
I would agree with Tom. The continued use of the puberty blockers, almost sensationalized using the drugs. I didn't find much academic, in the book that really stood out to me. So I can't support it.
You do have to remember that these are not books that are in the curriculum, so that's not for academics per se. It's free choice to read in the library. I believe that this is, I understand, a hot issue, but it is a very prevalent topic that is happening amongst students in our very district, and I think it's important to have that visibility And I think that this is a positive book for those students to understand the importance of going to therapy, speaking to a doctor, having all of the information and the support of their family to process this. It's very, very important, and it's very, very dangerous if they do not do those things. So I think that it's very important to have that visibility and to not take away that resource from students who are going through that and may not have any other resources to understand or know what to do moving forward.
For myself, when it comes to the vote, the first thing I wanted to just touch base was the process itself. To get us to this point, we had one person file a petition that they asked to be the book review. My understanding, Heather, is just a question, it was only received once, correct? Then it goes through the policy that we've established. We've selected individuals that we trust to make qualified decisions in this regard. So it went through that process. It took us time to get there. And at that point, it became a vote where there was only one person in the room that objected to keeping the book on the shelves. So I do personally, we trust these individuals. This committee that I believe the board built at some point has appointed the individuals to serve on that, or there's been a selection to say these are individuals we trust with the decision. Once they come to a decision, I think it's something that we should value and we should trust and we should respect. And I think when we have, after tonight's presentation and knowing the vote, we've had 3 people say, or not the vote here, but prior with the 2 speakers, one of which was the petitioner and then one of the members of the committee that voted against. We have 3 that have said we should pull the book, but then the other 10 professionals, citizens, and students have said we should retain it. And that has an incredible amount of value to me. But then also to Katie's point, we have families that are experiencing this within our district. And one of the keys, in my perspective as a school board member, is that we should promote acceptance. And when we pull things from the shelf that either try to hide or try to, and I'm not accusing anyone of doing so, it's just a perspective for those that might see this decision, either dismiss someone's experience, hide their experience, or not provide them access to things that they could find comfort in by shared experiences, then I think we're doing a disservice to those kids who absolutely are in this world. And I can understand the concern from all the perspective of the puberty blockers. That's very real. But the reason they're puberty blockers is because they have to get into that sort of treatment. If this is what's been determined by all these families, professionals, medical and otherwise, they can't wait. So that's why it's a book that applies to 10 to 14-year-old. It's middle school. It's written directly from them. It's an award-winning book for that audience because that's when it's most relevant. So those are the reasons why. But one, out of true respect for the process and the individuals that have dedicated so much time to it, and not to dismiss and trust the work that they've done. But 2, I also want to acknowledge that these are happening, and our students, I feel, are better for having access to that because they will be able to share experiences. If they aren't actually experiencing themselves, they'll learn apathy to those that might be. And those are the lessons, and some people will say, what do you want your children to learn? That's exactly what I want my son to learn, are those things. If he's not a member of the community that's suffering or being accused or being bullied, I want him to read their experiences so that he can understand and perhaps associate in some way with that pain so he's a better person to come from it. So that's where my vote comes from.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the Book Review Committee's recommendation to keep the book Lillian Duncan by Donna Giffart on the shelves of the USD231 library for students to read.
Second.
All those in favor? All those in favor? Opposed? All right, before we move on from this topic, I probably should have brought this up earlier, but the book review process has come up quite a bit in discussion, the policy. Both sides of the community, pretty much everybody on the board has discussed, maybe we need to revamp it. So I would like to explore sending it to the review committee.
The policy?
Yes.
How to put it into review? Sorry. The policy for how to put it into review?
The book review policy.
Should they come through the
And
policy
it's,
committee?
right, and that's exactly what I was going to say, is that we have the next policy review committees in the spring. I'm looking at Jody, you know the date?
Typically, KASB will put out revisions after the first of the calendar year, so then we would target a probably not in January because we got to get them and look through them. So we would typically have a meeting, late winter, early spring, February or March.
All right. So Jody's here. We can make that policy part of the discussion. And all right, we're on it. Absolutely.
That will bring us to 10.2, executive session for personnel.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss the Human Resources Personnel Report pursuant to non-elected personnel exception under COMA, and the open meeting will resume in the boardroom at 7:10 PM. The board would like to invite Dr. Huff, Dr. Marshall, Dr. Booth, Heather Peak, and Mark Meyer into executive session.
I'll second.
All those in favor? None opposed. All right, we're back in session and on to 10.3, action on personnel.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor? None opposed. 10.4, executive session for negotiations.
Motion to go into executive session to discuss the board's professional negotiation priorities and parameters with its chief negotiators pursuant to the exception for employer-employee negotiations under COMA, and the open meeting will resume in the boardroom at 7:20 p.m. The board would like to invite Dr. Huff, Dr. Marshall, Dr. Booth, and Amy Drogemeyer into executive session.
I'll second.
All those in favor? None opposed. All right, we're back in session and on to 11.1, adjournment of meeting.
I make a motion?
I'll second.
All those in favor? None opposed. 12.1, the next regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Education will be held on Monday, January 13th, 2025 at 6 p.m. here in the board offices.